One Piece fans, this is Chris Bolts, and I'm coming in with an episode recap and review of this week's episode 1162, A Gargantuan Wave of Emotion, the dreamlike scenery of Elbaph. Now, before I do get into the content, do make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. All that stuff really does help me out. And this is pretty much a short and sweet setup episode. And I say it's short and sweet, even though it's the standard length of a One Piece anime, up to 23 minutes. Basically going to be getting all of the Straw Hats back together again. At the beginning of this, Roto is still chasing after the other Straw Hats. The Straw Hats that he's chasing after, of course, are Nami, Chopper, Usopp, Sanji, and Zoro. Luffy had went down into the underworld, still chasing after them, desperately trying to get them back, but he's not going to be successful. Over here, we see that Luffy finally catches up with the Thousand Sunny, which is being carried by Goldberg and Gerd. Gerd is very happy to see a little human who what she calls all the little humans that's running around. She's in love with them. She catches Luffy right there and holds on to him, knows that that's Luffy right there. She begins to apologize to Luffy for how Weirdo Roto was taking them prisoner, and that's what she calls him. She calls him Weirdo Roto, and we know that Roto is weird because he actually had them all locked up and all that. Goldberg notices that Luffy is coming from the underworld, but we know that Luffy can't talk about it because he made a deal with Loki that he would stay silent and wouldn't say anything about the deal he made with Loki with regards to getting him free in exchange for information on red-haired Shanks. Then we come over here. We get introduced to a new character. This kid right here, his name is Callan. Callan is kind of like a giant version of Luffy. He is so excited to see the giant pirate crew coming back. Wants to run off to meet them. They had an encounter with Shanks as well. Shanks told the people here at Elbaph to remember the name of Luffy. Don't forget his name. Then we come over here to this nice scene where we see Brogy pull out this stone called a painter. This painter stone is basically the key to opening up the Rainbow Road or Rainbow Bridge, whatever you want to call it. This is the way that you get to the Elbaph village from the sea, this nice, beautiful rainbow that is so shocking to all of the Straw Hats that are on that ship, as well as Lilith and Jewelry Bonnie. They're so fascinated by this being so close to a rainbow road. This is actually a pretty nice picture right here and everything. There's a lot of beautiful images that are associated with Elbaph, which captures the majesty and the gargantuan nature of this particular island. They're able to see this rainbow road up close, and they're all surprised that they're going to be riding the rainbow, which is something that they've never heard of. And when you think about the rainbow, it's just a light refraction. It hits water drops, the light gets refracted, and you see all those nice, beautiful colors. But here in One Piece, you are able to ride the rainbow. All of the Straw Hats that are on this ship, as well as Lilith and Jewelry Bonnie, are so surprised by it. Here's a nice picture of Nico Robin and Jewelry Bonnie, which, by the way, I like the fact that so far they're keeping Jewelry Bonnie in her kid phase, because we all know that Jewelry Bonnie is not some grown-ass woman. She's a 12-year-old kid who had to endure quite a bit of trauma associated with her adoptive father, Bartholomew Kuma. We know that her mother was killed by the Celestials, and she had a debilitating disease that had to be cured, and it's just so nice to see her with a real nice smile on her face right there. Then we come over here. Roto finally catches up to his live dolls. He's about to try to get them, but Sanji and Zoro jumps into action, and they knock down a tree and trap his arms so that he is not able to go in there and grab up Nami or Chopper. And then the other two giants finally catch up to the Straw Hats right there. There's Goldberg and Gerd. They're introducing themselves. They're going to be apologizing again to all the Straw Hats. And then they deliver a devastating blow to Weirdo Roto. They hit him upside the head for his misdeeds of capturing the Straw Hats and turning them into his alive dolls. Finally, they are on their way to Elbaph village. They're all going to be meeting up. The Straw Hats are all reunited at the greatest sight that they have ever seen in their lives. It brings Usopp to tears, this giant majestic city that is existing above the clouds. Brings Usopp to tears. Chopper is excited. Usopp again is brought to tears. Luffy is excited. Frankie, Jinbei, everybody's excited. Everybody's excited to be introduced to this nice looking city. Let me see if I can get some really good pictures of it here. I've been just thumbing through it here and not being lucky and being able to land on any of this right here. Here we go. Here's a nice one right here. This is a nice wide view of the city of Elbaph. And at the end of this, we get a narration about the beauty of Elbaph from an explorer whose name is Louis Arnold right here. And this is kind of the surprising faces by Luffy and them, because they see that the giant ship is sailing on the rainbow, and they're like, whoa, it's sailing on the rainbow. And you see there's Luffy, there's Usopp, there's Chopper, they're all like that. Wow, Elbaph is awesome. such good vibes that they're getting from everything associated with seeing the grandeur of Elbaph, which, by the way, there are 3 levels to Elbaph. We got the underworld down here. This is the sun world. That's where all the giants live, because the sun can reach there. And then the top here is called the astral world. We'll probably be finding out more about the astral world as this season goes on, and other seasons as well. Kind of interesting that the giants live on this canopy as opposed to the top one. I don't know why the sun cannot reach up here in the astral world, but it definitely can reach down here, and they're able to live well above the ground inside of this big giant tree. So this was a really good short episode. Like I said, let's go ahead and go to the preview for next week's episode of One Piece. And this one looks like it's going to be another setup, but it's going to have big implications. Nico Robin is going to see her mentor for the first time in 22 years. She finally will have her reunion with Saul, which will be kind of interesting, because a couple of episodes ago it said that Saul had collapsed at the beach. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how this lines up with that. Very interested in wanting to see that. So again, this was just one giant setup episode, not a whole lot going on. But again, not every episode needs to be action. I really enjoyed this episode. I really liked seeing the big smiles on all the faces of the Straw Hats as they get to see Elbaph Village for the first time. They're all being reunited after being separated because of Weirdo Roto and his actions. And it's nice that they're meeting up with the new giant warrior pirates, as well as the giant pirates, getting ready to have that nice feast in the sun world. So I'm going to go ahead and give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. What did you guys think of this week's episode? Jump down in the comments and let me know what you guys think, and make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. All that stuff really does help me out. And remember, this is Chris Bolt signing off, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy.